For those of you who may be unfamiliar with the concept of lost media, it describes any media that is generally inaccessible to the public. Said media may be legitimately lost, stolen, destroyed, or held in some sort of legal limbo, among other reasons. In this specific case, this piece of lost media is being withheld mostly as a means of quality control. Faith No More is a band that has seen multiple lineup changes, but for the sake of brevity, let's just say as of 1989, the band is comprised of Billy Gould on bass, Roddy Bottum on keyboards, Mike Borden on drums, Mike Patton on lead vocals, and Jim Martin on guitar. So in late 1991, Faith No More found themselves at a creative crossroads. Their previous record, The Real Thing, released in 1989 and backed by smash hit single Epic, solidified their status as major players in rock music. It also brought their then unknown but incredibly talented vocalist Mike Patton worldwide recognition. Not only was he making waves for his unique singing approach, but he'd also become the teen heartthrob du jour, something he'd quickly discover was actually more trouble than it was worth. 1991 was also the year Patton released his first record with his childhood band, Mr. Bungle, on Warner Brothers Records. Advantageously using his momentum with Faith No More, Patton was able to use his newfound celebrity in the rock world to leverage a release of some of the most bizarre and deranged music ever to be released on a major label. And in an act of solidarity, Mr. Bungle opted to don Halloween masks and sometimes coveralls during live shows starting in 1991 to reject the star power appeal that Mike Patton had gotten in the last 2 years. After touring like workhorses on The Real Thing for nearly 3 years, it had seemed they'd begun to tire of their current musical direction. Much of the press had aligned them with the brand of funk rock or funk metal and put them in the company with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, something that both bands would grow to resent. Now, this is a personal interjection, but I feel that Faith No More's primary writing core in Roddy Bottum and Billy Gould may have taken some cues from Mr. Bungle and begun to long for more experimentation in their music. Now, Mr. Bungle went so far and so insane with the avant-garde stuff and the kind of the Zappa-inspired fusion of genres. I think that the rest of the band looked at what was going on with Mr. Bungle and said, why not us? We could do something similar but still keep it, in a rock or a metal formula. So time had come for Faith No More to return to the studio, but what they would write was more akin to, career suicide than a continuation of styles and momentum built on their previous record. No longer was Mike singing with his signature nasally timbre. There was almost an unwarranted heightened emphasis on sampling. Inspiration was taken from genres like industrial rock and death metal, and most of the more funk elements were modified into something that Jim Martin so lovingly referred to as gay disco. Needless to say, this is an album you must hear. So while their 1992 release, Angel Dust, provided a litany of different rock and metal stylings and ultimately proved to be a more treasured and monumental record than The Real Thing in the long run, one lesser-known fact is the fate of the songs that made the cutting room floor. So Angel Dust shipped to stores with 13 tracks, but several more were also recorded during their time at Coast Recorders in San Francisco. Of these that did not make the final album as of its first pressing in June of 1992, there is Easy, a cover of a Commodore's classic that is surprisingly rather faithful to the original song and would be released as a single later that year. As the Worm Turns is a re-recording of a pre-Patton era song originally released on Faith No More's debut album, We Care a Lot, in 1985. It was actually released on the Japanese edition of Angel Dust as a bonus track. It would also rear its head as a B-side on international single releases. It wouldn't find its way onto Angel Dust until the double disc 2015 special edition re-release. Das Schützenfest is a goofy polka song with electronic instruments that sees Mike Patton crooning in broken German. This would hit the ears of many a bewildered listener in 1993 on the EP Songs to Make Love To, which featured a remix of Easy among other B-side material. The World Is Yours is a song that was played live only a handful of times prior to Angel Dust's release. This particular track happens to be by far the most sample-heavy, but also one of the most compelling songs Faith No More has ever recorded. This song went unreleased until 1998 when Slash Records dropped a double-disc greatest hits album titled Who Cares a Lot. And the final known track is Virus, known to fans as the Shuffle Song or the Seagull Song, a fine piece of lost media if there ever was one. Bits of this can be heard in a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Angel Dust that was filmed in 1992 and surfaced on the internet as far back as 2010. It's a long watch. It's about 3 hours, but it's kind of awesome to see a band, in their element at the peak of their careers, and also just hear interviews in which they kind of pick their brains. Mike Patton is incredibly, trolly, possibly annoyed, but it's a fantastic interview regardless. So the reason that it's called the Shuffle Song is basically that is a code name given to it by the band, because the drums have that kind of bluesy, eighth note, shuffly rhythm. So the reason why it's called the Seagull Song is because during the making of Angel Dust, Roddy Bottum and Billy Gould are seen working on layering said song with synth sounds that resemble the calls of seagulls. It seemed that this song would never see the light of day, but in 2011 it would appear the mystery around Virus was beginning to clear up, as a Faith No More fan blog known as newfaithnomore.com had finally posted a minute-and-a-half snippet of the track. It seems a fan by the name of Shane had been able to track down a rare tape from the Angel Dust recording sessions. Unfortunately, out of respect for the band's wishes, Shane had decided against posting the full song. Another user named Mike also professed to be in possession of a copy of the song, but told the fan base that he was sure that a fan would finally leak the track at some point. So as far as fans go, we are currently only sure that at least 2 Faith No More fans are in possession of this tape and are completely unwilling to grace us with the full song. So why haven't the band released it yet? It would seem that the band, despite releasing other obscure outtakes like The World Is Yours, simply do not feel Virus is up to par nor finished enough to warrant a full quality release. In 2010, the band sans Patton had been asked about Virus, with Bottom stating, "It's like anyone, Bands don't release things because they don't like the way they sound." It goes without saying that in any creative endeavors, one would be wary to release something that they are not proud to put their name on. And thus, as of April 2022, a large majority of Faith No More fans have still not heard the full track in its entirety, and it's questionable whether or not that will ever happen. To close the video, I will say I think the whole situation's kind of annoying when fans don't want to share with other fans. I understand respecting the band's wishes, but I just, if you have it, why not? At this point, the band's only getting older. Everyone that is fans of this band are only getting older. It's suffice to say that I'm sure people that knew about this probably have died and never heard it. Why not just share the wealth? Anyhow, I guess I'll just play us out with the snippet that we do have. And I just wanted to say, if you're coming back or if you're seeing this at all in your feed, thanks for checking it out. If you're sticking around and you still want to hear from me, thanks a lot.
Yeah.